through Fleury.
The first 20 games of 2009, from January 1st to February 14th, were tough. You only won 8 games. The offense wasn't scoring like it had. The defense was allowing more goals more often than not. Special teams, not so special. Was that a tough rut? What do you remember about that stretch of games?
Yeah, it was tough. Really tough. And you're faced with injuries. And like I said, every team wants to beat you every night. You can't have an off night. So there are nights where you play well and other teams play well. That's the nature of the league. There's nights where you play well and lose. I mean, that's something that happens. But when you're kind of wasting games because you're not bringing your best, so to speak, then I think that's frustrating for sure. So there was a combination of us not playing well and having some bad breaks with the injuries we had. So it wasn't an easy time at all.
I mentioned February 14th. That night was a 6-2 loss to the Maple Leafs in Toronto in a not-so-memorable third period.
Another blast. Score.
At that point, did you feel the team had hit rock bottom?
You know, I remember that game, but I remember the time before that too, because we'd won, I think, a couple maybe, or 2 or 3 in a row, and I thought we were playing pretty good hockey, and then we played that night, and it was just a tough night. So yeah, it was not an easy time. I think I remember sitting on the bench, and it was goal after goal. They hit us pretty hard in the third, so that was definitely a tough one to take.
On February 15th, you found out that Michel Therrien had been relieved of his duties as head coach. How did you find out, and what were your initial thoughts?
Well, I got a text like everyone else saying that we had to meet the next day, and that there were some changes and things like that made. So I don't think anyone felt good. It's a terrible feeling. I think as players, we always realize, at the end of the day, that if we're not playing well, usually it's the coach that suffers. So we weren't playing well. We knew that, and we felt responsible. But at the same time, we knew we had some time left, and we had to make sure that we found a way to turn things around, and whatever changes were going to be made, they could be made, but it was up to us to really make the difference.
You were with the team when Eddie Olczyk was dismissed and Michel Therrien had replaced him, but you weren't captain at that time. Being a captain this time around, did you feel a sense of responsibility to address the team or do things differently, since your role as captain is obviously a role of leadership?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. As a captain, your job, I think always remains the same, and even with a coaching change, you still need to be a leader in the same way. For me, I just try to keep doing the same thing, and the best way to lead is by example, but I didn't think that there was really probably not a lot of that to be said. Guys realized we had to be better, and I think every guy could look in the mirror and be honest with themselves.
When you heard the 2 words, Dan Bylsma, what was your first impression, and what did you think about him when you first met him?
Well, I really didn't know a lot about him. I met him just at camp, but I think first impressions were pretty upbeat person. He came with a lot of energy to the rink, and from what he was teaching us early on, he wanted us to play a really high-paced game, skilled game, and really attack teams. So, as an offensive player, that was something that I look forward to. Trying to use my speed, and I think as a team we had a good group with speed. So I think that was a strength of ours, and he was really emphasizing using that. So I think we're all looking forward to that.
But even with good speed and being a team that had a lot of talent, you were in 10th place on February 15th. Did you really think that reaching the playoffs was a possibility?
Yeah, we believe it. I mean, we were shooting for 8th. I mean, that's what we needed to get in the playoffs. So we still knew we had time, and I think we also realized we needed some help from other teams and on that side of things. But we knew if we bared down for a couple months that maybe we could turn things around. So we were lucky. We worked hard and seen probably some really good results right away.
In your first 3 seasons in the National Hockey League, there's always been so much talk about finding guys that can play in your line. Who's going to be Sidney's left winger or right winger? So when Ray Shero went out and got a Chris Kunitz and a Billy Guerin, and you found out that was going to be your 2 wingmen, what did you think about those 2 guys and how you would kind of mesh together?
I wasn't sure. I don't think you're ever sure until you play with guys, but I thought, the first few games there was some chemistry there, and I think what they both bring is guys who are going to work hard for pucks. They're going to battle, and I think they brought a lot of different things, but certainly the consistency was the most important.
The Penguins would embark on a 5-game road trip. At the time, if I remember correctly, you were just inside the playoff picture, maybe 6th or 7th place, but you knew that this road trip would be big. I don't know if anybody ever thought that you would sweep the trip, but you did. Was that kind of the turning point when you felt we really do have a chance to do something special here, to finish strong, make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so. We knew that was going to be a big test for us, and that was not an easy trip at all. We were playing some good teams, and to win 5, I think 5 for 5 on a trip like that, that showed a lot of character, and I think we were all in the mindset that here's our chance, and we gave ourselves a good trip here, and we've got to finish off the season strong.
The Penguins win the extra point. What a win today for the Pittsburgh Penguins over the Washington Capitals. A perfect road trip for Pittsburgh.
In my own words, Sidney Crosby, Season 4.